Today we are going to get into making and installing shiplap. I'll be putting this in my half bathroom, but the concept applies to any wall. So in this particular video, we're going to show you how to shiplap this entire back wall right here for only $20 worth of materials. And remember to smash that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on the rest of this bathroom remodel when we release the video next week. So here's the wall we'll be dealing with. It's just shy of 4 feet wide and 10 feet tall, and there's only one spot where we will have to make a special cut on the shiplap to accommodate for plumbing. You may have an electrical outlet or something in your case, but it's easy to get around. So I got an 1/8 inch thick sheet of plywood and I cut it into 8-inch wide strips here. And you can see the strips are already made. And you could do this with the simple table saw here. And actually I didn't cut it myself. I went to Home Depot and they'll cut it for you. They're a little agitated when they're making all these strips. But you just buy a 4x8 piece of plywood like this, ask them to cut it or cut it yourself here, and you're all set. You'll also notice the very last piece will be a little bit smaller than the other, so just save it for either the top section or the bottom section of your wall. Now just cut the strips to the length of the wall. And go ahead and sand the edges and lightly sand the face of the planks. To begin, we're going to paint the wall behind the shiplap white. You will be able to see in between the shiplap, so you don't want any weird colors to show through. And I'm painting all of my walls in here, so I went ahead and hit those now because it will be harder to get the corner when there's shiplap there. I'm applying white trim paint to mine so it'll match the rest of my trim and add some durability, but feel free to paint these whatever color you would like. I've seen some pretty cool styles out there. Now I'm just going to cut out a little notch for some of my plumbing. So once you have these all cut out and painted, go ahead and leave them in the room that you're going to install them in for about 24 hours. So that way they can get used to the temperature in the room, and this will just help prevent them from warping and popping off later on. Alright, so it's the next day. I've let the planks sit in here for 24 hours so they can acclimate to the weather in this room. And so what's next is we're just going to simply adhere the planks to the wall and nail gun them in, making sure they're level and there's spaces in between. So this is the Ryobi nail gun I've been using over the past couple of months. I really don't know how I lived without it, but you could always use a staple gun or something else. But I'll have this down in the description below if you want to check it out. So if you're wondering why we're painting this wall in the first place, I'm about to tell you. So this is probably the most important part when it comes to installing shiplap. You're going to need to put a little space in between the planks of shiplap because as temperature changes and the humidity changes, these boards can contract and expand, causing them to push against each other and pop off. So we don't want that, and so what that space does is it gives it room to move a little bit. So if you've seen any of my other previous shiplap videos, you'll notice I use this little trick where I place a nickel as the spacer between the planks, and it works perfectly. Just put the little nickel on each end of the board, and it gives it like a 1/8 inch gap or so. So since this is right above the toilet, and if you're a guy or a Caitlyn Jenner, you're going to be standing here facing 2 feet away from this wall. So I actually want to tighten in those gaps a little bit, and I'm going to be using a quarter as a spacer just to make it a little bit cleaner. Please no political comments about the Caitlyn Jenner thing. I also applied just a little bit of adhesive to the back of these just to hold it on a little better. And all I'm using is some liquid nails. Then I'm going to putty over the nail holes real quick. Then just give everything a second and final coat of paint. This part is optional, but I'm going to apply a piece of quarter round to the corners to give it that finished look. That's literally all it takes. This project took a weekend to do, or in my case 2 weekends because I get distracted easily. But this will make this half bath stand out for when my guests come in to visit. My entire half bathroom remodel will be done shortly, and I'll have a video out on that next week. Again, please consider subscribing so you can catch more content just like this, and go ahead and hit that thumbs up button below. I'll see you soon. Thank you.